Meet Kirsty. She's drowning, not in water, but in data. Has to be an easier way to group this monthly data into quarters. I'm never going home at this rate. Fear not, Kirsty. I am Excelsior, the Excel Enchantress, and I've come to teach you the magic of pivot table grouping. Pivot what now? Oh, with pivot tables, you can group that monthly data into quarters in a few seconds. May I? Please. Let's start at the beginning. First, your data is in the perfect format for accountants, but this cross-tabular layout is terrible format for quickly summarizing data in Excel, so let's fix it. What you want is tabular layout like this, where there's a column for each field and each row is a record. Let's get rid of these manual calculations. But that took me ages. Don't worry, with what I'm about to show you, you won't ever have to do that again. Let's use Power Query to quickly fix the data layout. Now Power Query won't alter this data, it just references it, so this original table will remain intact. I'll Control T to format it in an Excel table so it's easy for Power Query to get the data. And then via the Data tab, I'll load it to Power Query. Now empty rows and totals have no place in a tabular layout and will cause problems with pivot table groupings, so let's remove them. I'll filter the null values in the account column, which will get rid of the total rows and the empty row in one step. Next, empty cells will prevent you grouping the data by account type, so I'll fill down the labels. And let's rename that column account type. Let's check if you have a total for the rows. Yes, you do. I'll delete that too. You see, you don't need totals in your source data because that's something you can easily do with a pivot table. So lastly, I'll unpivot the date columns. Ta-da! Now you have your data in the correct tabular layout with a column for each field. I'll rename the date and values columns. And the last data cleaning task I need to do is fix the date column. So currently these dates are formatted as text and the pivot table won't be able to group them. I'll change the data type to date and rename the query expenditure. And I'm ready to close and load to pivot table report. That was so fast. Well, that's just a fraction of the amazing data transformation and cleaning tools in Power Query. You should check out my Power Query course. Okay, let's build it in the standard accounting layout where the accounts go down the rows and dates across the columns. Notice the dates are automatically grouped into years, but more on that in a moment. I'll format the values with the comma separators and round them to 0 decimal places. I can expand the years to drill down to the next level by clicking on the plus icons one at a time, or all at once by right-clicking, expand and collapse, and expand entire field. You can manage the grouping by right-clicking the years or quarters and then group. Now notice it's actually grouped by months, quarters and years, so we can continue expanding the groups in the pivot table as required. The default grouping here will depend on how many years there are in your data set. If you have less than 1 year, then it will only group by months and maybe quarters. Notice it also picks up the starting and ending dates based on your data, but you can change those if you want. By the way, if you have any time-based data, you can also group by seconds, minutes and hours. Here the pivot table has automatically subtotaled the years, but you can turn them off if you prefer. So what do you think, Kirsty? For the first time in months, Kirsty is going to make it home in time to have dinner with her family. Well, since I'm here, let's see if I can help Kirsty with any other pivot table groupings. Here's a table containing employee data. Let's group the employees into age bands and see how many there are. I'll insert a pivot table on a new sheet with the age in the rows and the age in the values, and I'll change the values age to count. Now I can group the age field into bands of 5 values. It picks up the starting and ending ages based on the dataset, but you can change them here. Kirsty might also want to visualize this data in a histogram. However, our pivot tables don't support the histogram chart type, but I can use some Excel wizardry and fake one with a column chart. I'll Control 1 to open the editing pane where I can change the gap width to 0. And now I have a histogram. I'll also right click and get rid of the fill buttons and remove the legend. I can't help myself. Let's add a slicer for the department field. And now I have an interactive histogram of employee ages grouped into bands of 5. That'll be a nice surprise for Kirsty when she comes in tomorrow morning. Let's see what other ways we can group Kirsty's data. Holy dragon scales. That's an unexpected list. Looks like Kirsty has a thing for mythical creatures. Maybe she wasn't rushing home to see her family.
Come on, Dragon Bite.
Every unicorn has its rainbow. Let's see if I can organize this data a bit better and help Kirsty out. I'll insert another pivot table with the category in the row labels and dates in the columns and the score in the values area. I'll fix the score to display the average. Now we have to fix the number format to round to 0 decimal places. Okay, it's looking good, but how about we put these creatures into some custom groups? Starting with elf, fairy, phoenix and unicorn. I'll right click and group them. And I'll rename the group magical beings. Just type over the text in the pivot table. And let's go to the pivot table analyze tab and give this new field a name. We'll call them creatures. I'll quickly group the other creatures. Dragon and goblin can be in a group called fierce creatures. And centaur, dwarf, mermaid and troll can be humanoids. Now, because I've added a new group, this becomes a field in the field list and I can quickly add a slicer for it. Now Kirsty can filter her data to see performance scores over time. And just like that, Excelsior is gone to slay another Excel worksheet into shape. Oh, what's this? These weren't here before. Oh, Excelsior. Thank you. I'm going to look like a star in today's meeting. Oh no, has she seen my mythical creature list? Yeah. Oh my though, she has transformed that too. Wow.
Come on, Dragon Bite. Come on.
It turns out Excelsior was right. Kirsty wasn't rushing home to see her family. You can unlock the magic of pivot tables with my Pivot Table Quick Start course, and you too can be impressing your co-workers with your Excel skills and getting home on time like Kirsty. You'll find the link in the video description. By the way, no dragons were harmed in the filming of this video. Thanks for watching.